The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Do you ever feel like you're living everywhere, except right here, right now? As if your body is present, but your mind is miles away, lost in regrets about the past or fears about the future? If that feels true for you, you're not alone. In today's world, most of us are constantly in motion, not physically, but mentally. We're caught in a whirlwind of thoughts, endlessly worrying, planning, analyzing, and overanalyzing. We wake up with stress, go to bed with anxiety, and in between, we miss the only thing that truly exists, the present moment. We've become prisoners of our own minds, chained to memories, regrets, expectations, and stories that never stop replaying in our heads. The tragedy: we rarely notice it. We call this chaos normal. We call this pain life. But what if there was another way to live? A way to experience stillness, clarity, and deep peace, right now, in the middle of it all? That's exactly what Eckhart Tolle discovered, and what he shares in his groundbreaking book, The Power of Now. But he didn't come to this wisdom through books or success, or spiritual teachers. Number. It came in the darkest hour of his life. You see, Tolle was not always calm, present, or awakened. In fact, for most of his early life, he battled with severe anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. He carried a deep sense of dread and despair everywhere he went. Then, one night, when he was 29 years old, he reached his breaking point. In the depths of his depression, a thought echoed in his mind: I cannot live with myself any longer. And then came a moment of strange clarity. He questioned that thought. Who is the I that cannot live with the self? Are there two of me? That question cracked something open inside him. In that instant, he was pulled into a state of pure awareness. The voice in his head, the constant mental noise, went silent. What remained was peace, stillness, presence. He woke up the next morning transformed. The depression was gone. The fear was gone. And in its place was a deep, unshakable joy. For the next few years, he wandered the streets in awe, sitting on park benches, watching the world, being. Just being. Eventually, people began asking him questions, drawn to the peace they felt around him. And that's how The Power of Now was born. This isn't just a spiritual book. It's not religious. It doesn't try to convert you into a belief system. It's more like a mirror, one that shows you what you've been missing all along: life itself. It helps you recognize the unconscious mental habits that rob you of joy, drain your energy, and keep you trapped in invisible prisons. It's a guide to freedom. Not a freedom found somewhere else, but one that already lives inside you, right here, right now. The now is not just a moment, it's everything. It's where your life is happening. The past is gone. The future isn't real. And yet we live as if the present is just an obstacle to get through. Tolle flips that on its head. He shows us that the present moment is the doorway to peace, healing, and awakening. This video is not just a summary. It's an invitation, an opening, a shift. If you watch this with an open heart and an open mind, something inside you will change. This isn't about information. It's about transformation. By the end of this video, your relationship with time, thoughts, pain, and even your sense of self will transform forever. You will learn how to stop identifying with the voice in your head. You'll discover how to break free from the grip of the past and the anxiety of the future. You'll find out how to access stillness in the middle of chaos, how to stop resisting life and start flowing with it. You'll discover that peace doesn't come from changing your circumstances. It comes from changing your consciousness. And once you awaken to that truth, your entire life becomes different. Your relationships, your work, your health, your happiness, they all begin to align. So take a deep breath. Right now. In through your nose, Out through your mouth. Feel your body. Feel this moment. Let everything else fall away. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to become anything. Just be. Be here. Be now. Because this moment, this stillness, this presence, it's not just where life is. It is life. And as you begin this journey into the power of now, remember, you are not watching this video by accident. Something in you is ready to wake up. Something in you already knows that the peace you're seeking has been inside you all along, waiting for you to come home. Welcome to the power of now. Let's begin. Part 1. The core problem, psychological time, and the pain body. To truly grasp the life-changing power of now, we first have to understand what's keeping us trapped. What's standing in the way of peace? Why do we suffer so much, even when everything on the outside seems okay? The answer lies in something Eckhart Tolle calls psychological time, the mind's obsession with the past and future. Most people are not really living. They're thinking, remembering, anticipating, regretting, worrying, projecting. Always somewhere else. Never here. Never now. Psychological time is not the time you see on a clock. It's not about appointments or schedules. It's deeper, more deceptive. It's the inner dimension of time created by the mind. It's when your attention is hijacked by yesterday's wounds or tomorrow's fears. It's when your identity becomes tied to your history or your goals. It's when you say, "One day I'll be happy," or "If only that hadn't happened." It's when your mind drags you into a past you can't change or a future that doesn't exist. This constant psychological time is the root of human suffering. Let's break that down. When you think about the past, what do you usually feel? Guilt? Regret? Nostalgia? Sadness? Anger? The mind clings to these moments, replaying them endlessly, analyzing, blaming, comparing. And when you think about the future, what arises? Worry, fear, expectation, pressure, anxiety. You're either fearing what might go wrong or fantasizing about what might finally make you whole. But none of these things are happening now. They're illusions, yet they feel real because the mind makes them real. And because we are so identified with the mind, we become victims of its illusions. Eckhart Tolle puts it simply: we are not using time. Time is using us. We've made it our master instead of our tool. The past gives us a false sense of identity. The future gives us a false sense of hope. But both rob us of the one thing that is real, the present moment. And so, we walk through life asleep, lost in thought, disconnected from life as it's actually unfolding. Here's a practical example. Imagine you made a big mistake 5 years ago. A bad decision in a relationship, a missed opportunity, something that haunts you. Even today, you think about it. You analyze it. You blame yourself or others. It becomes part of your story. I'm the one who always messes up. Or, people can't be trusted. That's psychological time. The event is over, but your mind keeps it alive. It feeds on it. It uses it to define you. Or take the future. You're waiting for the right job, the right partner, the right number in your bank account. You're constantly striving, chasing, hoping. Once I have that, then I'll be okay. But peace is always just out of reach, because it's always somewhere out there. That's psychological time. And this brings us to another powerful concept in the book: the pain body. Tolle describes the pain body as a semi-autonomous energy form that lives inside you. It's the emotional pain you've accumulated over your life. Every heartbreak, betrayal, failure, trauma, and it's still there, lodged in your energy field. But it's not just passive. It's active. It feeds on pain. It wants more pain to survive. So it waits for triggers, someone saying something hurtful, a stressful situation, a bad memory, and it takes over. Suddenly, you're not yourself. You're reactive, emotional, angry, defensive, hopeless. That's the pain body in control. And it loves psychological time, because the past is its playground. When the pain body activates, it pulls you back into every wound you've ever experienced. It says, see, people always leave. You're never good enough. Life is unfair. And you believe it, because it feels so overwhelming, so personal. But the truth is, that pain is not you. It's a pattern, an echo, a storm passing through, and the more you identify with it, the more power it has over you. So here we are, lost in thought, consumed by time, ruled by our pain. And the tragedy is, we think it's normal. We think suffering is just part of life. But Tolle shatters that illusion. He shows us that suffering is optional. Not the pain of a stubbed toe or the grief of loss. Those are part of life. But the ongoing, low-grade, persistent suffering of the mind, that's created, maintained, prolonged, and it can end. Not by changing your past, not by controlling your future, but by stepping out of time altogether, into presence. Think about how much of your mental and emotional energy is spent in psychological time. How much of your life has been spent regretting, comparing, hoping, fearing, anticipating? How many moments have you missed because you weren't really there? We become prisoners of time, not living, just surviving memories and projections. And the worst part is, we don't even see the bars. The mind is clever. It disguises its suffering as responsibility. It says, you have to think this way to survive. You have to prepare. You have to replay that conversation so it doesn't happen again. But all it's doing is trapping you in a loop. The past and future become prisons dressed as safety nets. But there is a way out, and it starts with a radical realization. You are not your thoughts. You are not your past. You are not your future. You are not your pain. You are the awareness behind it all. The silent presence witnessing everything. And this awareness, it lives only in the now. The now is your escape route. The now is your key to freedom. The now is not a place you go. It's who you are beneath the noise. Presence is not a theory. It's not an idea. It's a lived experience. And in the next part of this journey, we'll explore exactly how to enter that state, how to break the addiction to thought, how to recognize the pain body when it activates, how to reclaim your power from the mind and the illusions of time. Because when you do, life changes. Not in the future, not when you get the job or find the person or reach the goal, but right now. Because the now is not the means to an end. It is the end. It's the doorway to peace, the portal to freedom. And the greatest discovery you'll ever make is that the present moment is already enough. You just have to wake up to it. Part 2. Awakening to the power of now. What exactly is the now? It sounds simple. Too simple, perhaps. But don't let the simplicity fool you. The power of now reveals that the present moment, the now, is the most profound, most transformative truth we can ever awaken to. And yet, it's also the most overlooked. Eckhart Tolle writes, time isn't precious at all, because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. So, what is the now? The now is the eternal present moment. It is the only thing that ever truly exists. The past is nothing but memories replayed in your mind. The future is only a mental projection. Neither have any real substance outside your thoughts. The past cannot be touched, and the future cannot be grasped. But this moment, right now, is real. It's always here. It's where life is happening. Everything you've ever experienced, thought, done, or felt has happened in the now, always, without exception. Nothing ever happened in the past, Tolle says. It happened in the now. The same is true of the future. When it arrives, It will be experienced now. The past and future only exist in your head. The now is life itself. That might sound abstract at first, so let's bring it closer. Imagine your life as a river. Most people are floating along, eyes fixed on the horizon, worried about what's coming next, or looking back at where they've been. But they're missing the water that's flowing right beneath them. That water, that immediate experience, is the now. It's the only thing you're truly ever in contact with. Or imagine a hurricane. There's chaos, wind, noise, destruction, all spinning violently. But at the very center of the storm, there's stillness, peace, total calm. That's the now. The now is the eye of the storm. It doesn't deny the chaos. It simply remains untouched by it. This is not just a poetic metaphor. It's a lived truth. If you pause right now and truly bring your attention to this exact moment, without labeling, without judging, just sensing what is, you'll begin to taste what Tolle is pointing to: the sensation of your breath, the subtle sounds around you, the weight of your body on the chair. These are not thoughts. They are experience. And in that experience, there is no stress, no regret, no fear, only presence, only now. Tolle explains that most suffering arises when we're stuck in what he calls mind-made time. That's the psychological time we discussed earlier, the thinking about what was or what will be. This kind of time creates tension, fear, stress, regret, anxiety. But timeless being fully present in the now, transcends all that. It's a state of stillness, clarity, and joy. It doesn't mean your problems vanish. It means your identification with them dissolves. You stop seeing them as your story and start seeing them as passing weather. You stop resisting what is and you start flowing with life. Tolle writes, "Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. This shift, this inner awakening, is what changes everything." It's not about escaping life's responsibilities. It's not about ignoring the future or forgetting the past. It's about not living in them. You still plan, you still remember, but you do so from presence. You stop losing yourself in thought and instead use thought as a tool without letting it dominate your existence. There's something profoundly liberating in that. You're no longer trapped in the mind's endless commentary. You start to experience life directly, as it is. And in that space, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A walk outside becomes a miracle. A cup of tea becomes a sacred ritual. A conversation becomes a living moment. Why? Because you're there. You're no longer splitting your attention between what is and what should be. You're not judging the moment. You're inhabiting it. This is the real power of now. It connects you to being, not doing, not having, not thinking, being. Tolle says, "Being is the eternal, ever-present one life beyond the myriad forms of life that are subject to birth and death." When you are present, you are in direct contact with this deeper dimension. You're no longer just a person with a name, a history, and a future. You are consciousness itself, aware, alive, awake. This is not just spiritual poetry. Neuroscience confirms that when you are present, fully attentive to the now, your brain shifts. Stress hormones decrease, creativity increases, clarity improves, your body heals. Why? Because the now is not just psychologically healing, it's biologically restorative. Your body thrives in presence, your mind quiets in presence, your soul expands in presence. The greatest gift of this awareness is that it makes peace available now. You don't need to wait until the situation changes. You don't need to achieve anything, get anything, prove anything. You just need to be. Tolle makes this bold declaration: you find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level. And that realization only happens in the now. So what keeps us from this? Habit. Conditioning. We're so used to living in our heads that the idea of just being can feel foreign, almost threatening. The mind doesn't want you to awaken. It wants to stay in control. That's why presence takes practice. You have to return to the now over and over again, not through force, but through awareness, through attention, through surrender. Try it now. Close your eyes for a moment. Take a conscious breath. Feel it move in. Feel it move out. Listen to the sounds around you without labeling them. Feel the aliveness in your hands, in your chest, in your feet. This is the now. It's always been here. You've just been looking elsewhere. The power of now is not something you understand with your mind. It's something you experience with your whole being. It's the key to ending suffering. It's the secret to joy. And it's the doorway to awakening. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into how to enter the now in everyday life. How to remain present in difficult situations, during emotional storms, and even in the face of pain. Because presence is not just for peaceful moments, it's a power that transforms everything it touches. And once you learn to live from the now, your life will never be the same. Part 3. The mind as the enemy of presence. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, thoughts spinning endlessly about something you said 3 days ago, or something that might go wrong next week? You know it brings no peace, no clarity, just a rising tide of anxiety. That's the overthinking mind at work. And according to Eckhart Tolle in The Power of Now, this mind, not your job, your past, or other people, is the real source of your suffering. We've all been taught to glorify thinking, intelligence, analysis, planning. We see these as marks of success. But Tolle challenges this narrative. He says, thinking isn't the problem. The inability to stop thinking is. The human mind has become compulsive. It runs like a machine you can't switch off. One thought leads to another, to another, to another, until you're buried under mental noise. This thinking is mostly repetitive, judgmental, and fear-based. It's rarely creative or insightful, and it almost always pulls you away from the present moment. Most people are not living their lives. They're living in their minds, replaying the past, rehearsing the future, reacting to inner commentary. They're thinking about life, not experiencing it. Tolle writes, "The mind is a superb instrument if used rightly. Used wrongly, however, it becomes very destructive. To put it more accurately, it is not so much that you use your mind wrongly, you usually don't use it at all. It uses you. This is the heart of the problem. The mind has become the master instead of the servant. And it's not just thoughts that trouble us, it's the identity we've constructed through those thoughts. Tolle calls this the ego. What is the ego? The ego is the false self, the identity made of thought. It's who you think you are. Your name, your job, your story, your roles, your opinions, your memories, your future projections. But none of that is the real you. The ego is built entirely from mental content, and to survive, it needs drama, fear, comparison, and resistance. It thrives on separation. The ego says, I am not enough. And then it spends the rest of its life trying to prove itself, by being right, by being better, by being admired, or by being a victim. It needs to feel superior or inferior, but never equal. Because if everything is equal, the ego loses its boundaries. It dies. This is why the ego can't live in the present moment. In the now, there's no story to uphold, no future to chase, no past to relive, just being. And for the ego, that's terrifying. It doesn't know how to exist without its identity. The ego is also the root of most emotional pain. Think of jealousy. It's the ego comparing itself and feeling inferior. Think of anger. It's the ego feeling threatened or disrespected. Think of guilt. It's the ego clinging to the past, refusing to let go. Think of anxiety. It's the ego trying to control a future it can never predict. These are not just passing emotions. They are egoic reactions rooted in thought. Real-world example. Imagine you're scrolling through social media and you see a friend on vacation in a place you've always wanted to go. Without realizing it, a wave of jealousy rises. That's the ego saying, "Why not me?" It resists what is. It compares. It separates. And suddenly, you're no longer in touch with your own life. You're caught in a mental prison built by thought. Or think of a time someone criticized you. Hours later, you're still replaying the moment in your head, constructing better responses, imagining comebacks. That's the ego defending its image. It cannot allow itself to be wrong. So it resists what happened and creates suffering. And yet, here's the life-changing truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. This realization is the beginning of freedom. You are the silent watcher of your mind, the one who sees the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. When you recognize this, you create space. And in that space, you can choose presence instead of reaction, peace instead of drama, clarity instead of confusion. Tolle explains, the moment you start watching the thinker, a higher level of consciousness becomes activated. This is the awakening of awareness, the power that sees the mind without being caught in it. He invites us to observe the voice in our head without judgment. Just notice it. Watch it, like clouds drifting across the sky. Don't fight it. Don't follow it. Just see it. You'll begin to realize something profound. The voice is not you. It never was. The more you practice this, the more your mind begins to settle. Not because you forced it, but because you stopped feeding it with identification. The ego lives through your belief in it. When you disidentify, it weakens. Now, this doesn't mean you'll never think again. It means you'll no longer be possessed by your thoughts. You'll think when thinking is useful, and when it's not, you'll rest in awareness. This is not passive. It's power. Stillness is not weakness. It's strength. Tolle says, when you become aware of silence, immediately there is that state of inner still alertness. You are present. You have stepped out of thousands of years of collective human conditioning. This awareness dissolves the mind's illusions. You realize you are not the story. You are not the struggle. You are not the voice that criticizes or compares. You are the stillness that hears it all. And from that place, you can live with a calm power that no ego can imitate. So how do you practice this in daily life? Start by noticing when you're thinking. Catch yourself when the mind starts spiraling into the past or future. Then bring your attention back to now. Feel your breath. Listen to the sounds around you. Notice the sensation of your hands. These are portals to presence. Use them. And when a strong emotion arises, jealousy, anger, fear, don't resist it. Don't believe the story around it. Just watch. Witness the emotion like a wave passing through your body. Let it move without fueling it. The more you do this, the more you'll experience a shift from ego to essence, from thought to awareness, from fear to freedom. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into that shift, how to transcend suffering through surrender. Because once you stop fighting life and start accepting it, something miraculous happens. The now opens up. And in that space, you find the peace you've been chasing all along. Part 4. Entering the Now, How to Become Present. Right now, as you read these words, pause for a moment. Take one slow, deep breath. Feel the air fill your lungs, and gently release. Notice the stillness underneath that moment of breath. That, right there, is the doorway to presence. You just entered the now. The power of now is not just an idea. It's an experience. It's not something you think about. It's something you do. And the miracle is, the path is always available. No matter where you are, no matter what's happening, the present moment is right here, waiting to welcome you back home. But how do we access it, especially in a world that constantly pulls our attention into noise, distraction, and overthinking? Eckhart Tolle offers simple yet profound steps to shift from mind identification to presence, from suffering to peace. Step 1. Become aware of your thoughts without judgment. The first step is awareness, but not just awareness in general, awareness of your thoughts. Noticing what your mind is doing without getting pulled into it. Tolle teaches that the moment you start observing your thoughts, you create a gap between you and the mind. That gap is consciousness. That space is your entry to freedom. You don't need to stop thinking. That's not the goal. You simply become aware that you're thinking. You watch the mind as if you're sitting beside a river, watching thoughts drift past like leaves on the surface. You don't follow the leaves. You don't try to change the current. You just watch. That moment of watching is a radical shift. Why? Because you're no longer lost in the story. You've become the witness. And the witness is always rooted in the now. At first, this might feel strange. You might notice how non-stop your mind really is. Replaying conversations, planning next week, doubting yourself. Don't judge it. Just see it. That's the power of step 1, awareness without judgment. Step 2, observe. Don't analyze. Be the watcher. We've been conditioned to analyze everything. Why am I feeling this? What does this mean? How can I fix it? But Tolle invites a different way, not to interpret, but to observe. When you feel sadness, observe the sensation without telling a story about it. When you feel stress, don't say, "This always happens to me." Instead, simply notice, there is stress. That small shift turns suffering into space. You become the sky, not the weather. Tolle puts it this way: you are the sky. The clouds are what happens, what comes and goes. The sky is who you are. This perspective changes everything. You realize you don't need to control every thought, heal every emotion, or fix every part of yourself. Presence isn't about fixing. It's about allowing. And in that allowing, transformation happens naturally. Step 3. Use the breath as a portal to presence. The breath is your most faithful companion. It's always with you. It doesn't belong to the past or future. It only ever exists now. Tolle calls the breath a portal into the now. When you consciously breathe, even for just a moment, you interrupt the thought stream and return to presence. Try it now. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Notice the sensation of air entering and leaving your body. Feel how your chest rises and falls. This is not just a relaxation technique. It's spiritual. The breath grounds you in your body. It returns you to the real. And with practice, it becomes a sacred ritual, a way to pause time and awaken to life. Whenever you're caught in worry or overthinking, bring your attention to your breath. It's the simplest, most powerful way to realign with the now. Step 4. Anchor awareness in the body. Feel aliveness within. Beyond the breath, the body itself is another gateway to presence. We often live entirely in our heads, disconnected from our physical being. But the body, Tolle teaches, is rooted in the now. He suggests a powerful practice. Feel the inner body. What does that mean? It means shifting your attention away from thought and into sensation. Try it. Close your eyes for a moment and bring your attention to your hands. Don't move them. Just feel them from the inside. Sense the aliveness in them, the subtle energy, the tingling, the warmth. That aliveness is presence. It's the life force flowing through you. It's not mental. It's real. Now, spread that awareness to your arms, your legs, your chest, your entire body. You'll notice something profound. When you're fully in your body, the mind becomes quiet. Thinking loses its grip. You're simply here. Tolle writes, "The moment your attention turns to the now, you feel a presence, a stillness, a peace. You no longer depend on the future for fulfillment. You don't look to the mind for salvation. You are free." What it feels like to be truly present. So what does presence feel like? It feels like peace without a reason. It feels like being wide awake, even in ordinary moments. It feels like silence that's full, not empty. It feels like coming home to yourself. You may still have thoughts, but they no longer control you. You may feel emotions, but they don't define you. You begin to move through life with clarity, acceptance, and ease. When you're truly present, time slows down. You become more aware of colors, sounds, and subtle sensations. Even a walk becomes profound. A conversation becomes sacred. A sip of tea becomes a meditation. Presence turns life into a living miracle, not because anything changes, but because you change. You stop searching for life. You start living it. And the beauty is, presence is always one breath away. You don't need to travel, learn more, or become someone else. You just need to return. Return to the breath. Return to the body. Return to now. As Eckhart Tolle says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. In the next section, we'll explore how living in the now transforms your relationships, your work, your sense of self, and how to carry this awareness into every corner of your life. Because when you live in presence, everything changes. Not on the outside, but where it matters most. Within. Part 5. The Illusion of Time. Living Beyond Past and Future. What if everything you think you know about time is an illusion? What if the past isn't real, and the future hasn't even been born? You see, we're taught to live in time. We plan for it. We chase it. We mourn it. But Eckhart Tolle reveals something radical in The Power of Now. Time is not life. It's a mental construct. And the more we live in this construct, the more we suffer. Let's break this illusion. The past. A memory in the now. Think about your past. The good, the bad, the traumatic, the triumphant. Where is it right now? It doesn't exist, except in your mind. The past is a thought, a story, a mental image, a faded photograph you keep replaying in your head. But that photograph? You're looking at it now. Tolle says, nothing ever happened in the past. It happened in the now. Even your memories of the past are happening now, in your mind. And yet, we carry the weight of our entire history on our backs. Regrets, guilt, identity, labels. This happened to me. I'm this way because of that. But those thoughts are not the past. They are present thoughts about the past. You are reliving pain, shame, and loss through the lens of memory, and making that pain real again and again. That's how time becomes a prison. But here's the freedom. The past has no power except the power you give it right now. The future, a projection in the now. Now think about the future. Your dreams, fears, expectations. You imagine them constantly. What if this happens? When will that work out? What if I fail? But all these thoughts are happening now. Just like the past, the future doesn't exist. It's a projection, an imagined movie in your mind, playing on the screen of the present. Tolle reminds us, the future is a mental construct, no more real than a dream. And yet, we live in it. We obsess over it. We tie our happiness to it. When I get the job, when I fall in love, when I have more money, then I'll be happy. That's the trap. When this happens, then I'll be happy syndrome is one of the greatest sources of misery. It keeps us chasing shadows. It keeps us in lack. Always just almost there, but never arriving. But what if we reversed it? What if, Instead of chasing happiness in the future, we accessed it now. That's the secret. That's the shift that unlocks peace. Living in the now doesn't mean irresponsibility. It means clarity. Now, let's address a common fear. If I stop thinking about the future, won't I become lazy or reckless? Won't I stop caring? Absolutely not. That's another illusion. Living in the now does not mean you stop planning or striving. It means you stop living through anxiety and attachment. You still plan, but from a place of clarity. You still set goals, but without stress or desperation. When you're present, you're more effective, not less. You see what needs to be done now, and you do it with full attention. You're not paralyzed by fear of failure. You're not distracted by regret. You're grounded, focused, powerful. As Tolle says, the quality of your consciousness at this moment is what shapes the future. That's the paradox. Living fully in the now is what creates the best future. Let go of the someday story. How many times have you told yourself, someday I'll be happy. Someday I'll start living. Someday I'll feel good enough. But someday never comes. It's a carrot on a stick, always out of reach. And worst of all, it steals the only thing you do have, this moment. The now is not someday. It's not a means to an end. It's the only place life ever happens. When you let go of the someday mindset, something incredible happens. You stop postponing your peace. You stop waiting for your life to begin. And you realize it's already begun. It's here. It's now. Presence doesn't kill ambition. It kills anxiety. Some people here live in the now and think, so I'm supposed to stop caring about goals or success? Not at all. Presence is not anti-ambition. It's pure intention without suffering. You can still build a business, write a book, create art, pursue your dreams. But now, you're not doing it to escape the moment. You're doing it from the moment. You're no longer saying, I must achieve this so I can be happy. You're saying, I am happy now, and from that wholeness, I create. That's a massive shift. When you live this way, ambition becomes joyful, work becomes play, progress becomes effortless. Why? Because you're no longer driven by lack. You're moved by love, curiosity, and truth. Tolle puts it powerfully. Stress is caused by being here, but wanting to be there. The cure is presence. You can have goals, you can dream, but the key is not to live in the dream, live in the now, and let the dream unfold from that space. Time is useful, but it's not life. Let's be clear, clock time is useful. We need it to make appointments, build schedules, and structure society. That's not the problem. The problem is psychological time, living in thought-based time, identifying with it, and using it as your emotional compass. The moment you believe your joy, worth, or identity depends on something in the past or future, you suffer. But when you see time as a tool, not your identity, you awaken to real freedom. Time is a map, but not the territory. The now is the territory. It's the living experience beneath the map. It's the pulse of existence, beating softly beneath every tick of the clock. When you anchor in the now, time becomes your servant, not your master. The eternal now is always here. Here's the ultimate realization. The now is eternal. It never leaves. It never changes. It just is. You've been in it your whole life. You just haven't noticed. And when you do, when you really feel it, you realize you're not the story of your past. You're not the anxiety of your future. You are the awareness that holds it all. You are the stillness beneath the storm. The now is not a concept. It's a sacred space, a doorway into peace, a return to who you really are. So let go of the illusion. Step out of the time machine. Come home to this breath, this heartbeat, this moment. Come home to now. Part 6. Acceptance and surrender, transcending resistance. What if the root of all suffering isn't your circumstances, but your resistance to them? That's the powerful truth Eckhart Tolle reveals in The Power of Now. He shows us that suffering doesn't come from what happens, but from our non-acceptance of it. We fight reality, we push against the moment, we say no to life, and that no becomes our pain. The mind resists, but the soul knows. Peace begins with surrender. Suffering is resistance to what is. Every time you feel stress, tension, or emotional pain, look deeper. Is it truly the situation that hurts, or your resistance to it? You get stuck in traffic, not ideal, but your suffering comes from your frustration, not the cars. Someone insults you, you feel pain. But the pain comes from your reaction, your wounded identity. You lose a job, you panic. But the real weight is in the fear, the mental story. This shouldn't be happening. We suffer because we want life to be different than it is. We argue with the present moment. We reject what is. We say, this shouldn't be. But life has already unfolded. It's already this. And that resistance, that inner no, creates friction. Mental, emotional, spiritual pain. Toll writes, whatever you fight, you strengthen. What you resist, persists. So what's the way out? Not control, not escape, not force. The way out is in. Acceptance is not weakness, it's power. Many people mistake acceptance for weakness. As if accepting a painful moment means you're defeated. As if surrender is the same as giving up. But it's not. Acceptance isn't giving up, it's giving in to reality. Not as a victim, but as a conscious choice. It takes immense strength to look at what is and say, yes, this is happening. I don't like it, but I will not fight it. That moment of yes is power. Why? Because when you accept the moment, you stop wasting energy on resistance, you become rooted, calm, aware, you gain clarity. You step into the only place change is possible, the now. Tolle says, acceptance of the now is the end of all drama. No more stories, no more mental arguments, just presence, just truth. This is where transformation begins. Surrender is yielding to the present, not giving up. Surrender sounds like a loss, but in spiritual truth, it's a victory. Surrender means letting go of inner resistance. It means stopping the fight against reality and opening to what is. It's not passive, it's deeply intelligent. It's saying, this is the moment. I will work with it, not against it. And here's the irony. Surrender doesn't trap you. It frees you. When you surrender to the end of a relationship, you allow healing. When you surrender to illness, you stop being consumed by fear. When you surrender to grief, you begin to feel its depth and its cleansing power. Surrender allows you to act from truth, not fear. It puts you back in harmony with life. And when you stop struggling, life flows again. As Tolle says, surrender is the simple but profound wisdom of yielding to, rather than opposing, the flow of life. The three choices: change it, leave it, or accept it. Here's a practical guide from the book, one that can change your life immediately. If you can change the situation, do it. If you can't change it and you can leave it, leave. If you can't change it or leave, accept it. Totally. Anything else is insanity. Simple. Director. Liberating. Think of how much energy we waste, complaining, resisting, wishing things were different, without doing anything. This framework cuts through the noise. If you're in a toxic job, can you find a new one? Then act. If you're in an argument, can you walk away? Then do so. If you're stuck in something unchangeable, illness, loss, a life challenge, then surrender. Let it be. Accept it not as defeat, but as the beginning of inner peace. This is not passivity. This is alignment. The pain is not in the event. It's in the resistance. end the resistance, and you end the suffering. A story of healing through surrender. Let me tell you a real story. A story of a woman named Lisa. Lisa had everything going for her. A great job, a stable marriage, a comfortable life. Then, within 2 years, she lost it all. Her husband filed for divorce. Her mother passed away. She was laid off. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Her entire world shattered. She fell into deep despair, anger, bitterness, victimhood. Why me? She kept asking. This isn't fair. She tried everything: therapy, support groups, medication. But nothing healed her. Not truly. Until one night, she sat in silence. She was too tired to fight, too broken to resist. And in that exhaustion, something broke open. She stopped thinking. She stopped trying to fix. She just breathed. And in that moment, something whispered, "This is what is." Not, "This is fair." Not, "This is easy." But just, "This is." That was her moment of surrender. From then on, she lived differently. She stopped asking, "Why me?" and started asking, "How can I be present?" She began each day with breath, with gratitude, even when the pain returned. She allowed herself to feel without drowning in the story. Slowly, the anxiety dissolved, the fear softened, and even before her physical healing began, she was already free. Because freedom doesn't come from controlling life. It comes from accepting it. Lisa says now, "Cancer didn't destroy me. Resistance did, and surrender saved me." Radical acceptance is the doorway to peace. This is the core truth of the power of now. Peace isn't something you find in the future. It's something you allow by surrendering to this moment. You don't have to like what's happening, but you can accept it. You don't have to feel joy, but you can stop resisting your sadness. You don't have to understand everything, but you can open to what is, right here, right now. That's radical acceptance, and it's the beginning of peace. Final thought: from resistance to flow. Life will not always go your way. There will be loss, pain, change. That's the nature of the world. But suffering? Suffering is optional, because suffering is resistance, and resistance can end. The next time life challenges you, don't ask, "How can I change this?" Ask instead, "Can I surrender to this? Just for now?" In that moment, you'll taste something deeper than control. You'll feel stillness, space, presence, and you'll know this moment, just as it is enough. This is the power of surrender. This is the beginning of freedom. This is the now. Part 7. Relationships and Presence. Transforming love through the now. Why do so many relationships, which begin with joy and connection, slowly slip into tension, conflict, or emotional distance? Eckhart Tolle offers a piercing answer. Most relationships aren't really love. They're unconscious agreements between two pain bodies, two people, both carrying unresolved wounds from the past, meet and unconsciously seek in each other what they think will complete them. At first, there's excitement, attraction. But over time, pain surfaces. Expectations rise, judgments appear. The pain bodies awaken and begin to clash. Suddenly, love turns into blame. Intimacy becomes a battlefield. But what if the problem isn't the relationship itself, but the lack of presence within it? What if the key to healing love isn't more communication, but conscious communication, rooted in the now? When pain bodies collide, Tolle describes the pain body as a semi-autonomous energy field of accumulated emotional pain. Every person carries one, and in close relationships, especially romantic ones, the pain body often becomes active. Have you ever noticed how a small comment from your partner, something trivial, can suddenly ignite a massive emotional reaction? That's the pain body. It wants drama, conflict, and pain, because that's what feeds it. In many relationships, You have two pain bodies interacting, not two conscious beings. One person's insecurity triggers the other's need for control. One person's anger activates the other's withdrawal. It becomes a cycle, unconscious, automatic, and exhausting. But presence changes everything. Presence dissolves expectation and judgment. In the now, there's no past to resent or future to fear. There's only what is, this moment, this breath, this being. When you are fully present in a relationship, you no longer relate to your partner as a role, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, nor as a source of your fulfillment. You relate to them as a soul, a human being, alive, like you, imperfect, like you, evolving, like you. You drop the heavy expectations. You should make me happy. You should never hurt me. You should always understand me. Instead, you meet each other with curiosity, not control, with openness, not assumptions, and you drop judgment. Why are you like this? You always do that. You never listen. Instead, you listen deeply. You feel what is, not what your mind thinks is. This creates space. Space for understanding. Space for real love to grow. Tolle writes, "Love is the absence of judgment. Love isn't possession. It's presence shared." So many people confuse love with attachment. They think, if I love you, I must hold on to you. I must control you. You must make me happy. But that's not love. That's fear wearing love's mask. True love is spacious. It doesn't cling. It allows. It breathes. When both people are present, love becomes an exchange of stillness, not need. You don't use each other to escape yourselves. You find yourselves more deeply in each other's presence. There's no pressure to perform or be perfect. There's just being. Imagine two people sitting in silence. No need to speak, no desire to impress, just sharing the same field of presence. That's intimacy beyond words. As Tolle says, true love arises in stillness, not in the mind. Practice conscious listening. Presence in relationships doesn't mean never speaking. It means listening without the ego. Try this the next time you're in a conversation with someone you love, especially during conflict. Don't prepare your response while they speak. Don't mentally defend your position. Don't analyze or judge what they're saying. Just listen. Feel your breath. Notice your body. Stay anchored in awareness. Let their words enter you, without resistance. This is what Tolle calls conscious listening, and it's one of the greatest gifts you can offer in a relationship. When someone feels heard without judgment, they begin to soften. Their defenses lower. Their pain body dissolves. And what remains is connection. Transforming conflict through presence. Every argument is an invitation, not to win, but to wake up. Imagine a heated moment with your partner. Voices raised, emotions swirling. The pain body is active. You have two choices. 1. React automatically. Defend, blame, attack. 2nd, pause. Breathe. Become aware. That one breath, that one conscious pause, can change everything. You might say, let's stop. I feel us both getting caught up in pain. Can we take a moment of silence? That silence is a miracle. It breaks the cycle. It invites presence back into the room. Or if your partner is upset, don't match their energy. Stay still. Listen. Hold the space. Don't personalize their words. See the pain body speaking, and don't feed it. This isn't easy. It takes practice. But over time, presence becomes your default. And your relationship becomes a sacred space for awakening, not a battlefield of egos. Final thought: the gift of presence in love. Presence is the greatest gift you can bring to any relationship. Not flowers, not fancy words, not grand gestures, just you. Fully here, fully open, fully now. Because in the now, love isn't something you get or give. It's something you are. And when two people meet in presence, the relationship becomes more than partnership. It becomes a portal to healing, to truth, to the divine. So ask yourself, can I be present with this person? Not to fix them, not to use them, but simply to see them. Can I love, not with my mind, but with my awareness? Can I allow this relationship to be a space, not of possession, but of presence? If the answer is yes, then love becomes what it was always meant to be, a mirror of the now. Part 8. Living a life rooted in being, bringing presence to every moment. What if the greatest spiritual secret isn't hidden in ancient texts or faraway temples, but right here, in the simple act of drinking a glass of water? Eckhart Tolle's message in The Power of Now isn't about escaping life. It's about fully entering it. Every moment, every breath, every step is an opportunity to return to being. But what does that really mean? To live a life rooted in being is not to chase some elevated state of perfection. It's not about having no problems, no stress, or no difficult emotions. It's about having awareness, deep, clear, present awareness through it all. It's about showing up to your life with openness instead of allowing your mind to carry you somewhere else. Create space in everyday activities. You don't need to meditate in a cave to live in the now. You can begin right here by doing the simplest things with presence. Next time you eat, try this. Don't scroll your phone. Don't turn on the TV. Don't plan your next move. Just eat. Feel the texture of the food. Taste it. Hear the sounds. Sense the breath flowing in and out of your body. Be here for the experience. This turns a routine habit into a sacred ritual. And this is the essence of living in being. Walk not just to arrive somewhere, but to feel the ground beneath your feet. Work not just to get things done, but to engage with life as it is. Even washing dishes becomes an act of awareness. The water, the movement, the silence. Tolle reminds us, when you walk, walk. When you eat, eat. This isn't simplicity. It's sacredness. Don't seek peace. Be peace. Most of us spend our lives chasing peace. If I can just finish this task, if I can get through this week, if they would just act differently. But true peace doesn't arrive after the noise. It is the silence beneath the noise. You don't need to find peace. You are peace, underneath the thinking mind. You only need to release the constant mental commentary. Imagine carrying a radio that plays judgment, comparison, anxiety, fear, on repeat. That's the unobserved mind. But when you realize you can put that radio down, even for a moment, you rediscover the stillness that's always been there. You return to the space of being. And in that space, you're no longer reacting. You're simply aware. And that changes everything. Gap awareness, the space between thoughts. Most people identify with their thoughts, but thoughts are like clouds passing through the sky. They are not you. Between each thought, there's a brief pause, a stillness, a gap. That gap is the doorway to being. Tolle encourages us to begin noticing that space. When a thought ends, instead of grabbing another, wait. Feel the silence. Rest in it. This is not about stopping thinking. It's about noticing the stillness behind it. Even just a few seconds of gap awareness can reset your entire nervous system. It softens your emotions. It quiets your mind. And it reconnects you with the truth. You are not your thoughts. You are the presence that sees them. To be spiritual is to be aligned with the now. You don't need a label to be spiritual. You don't need robes, titles, or belief systems. True spirituality isn't what you say. It's how you show up to this moment. Are you present? Are you open? Are you resisting life? Or allowing it? As Tolle writes, to be spiritual is to be aligned with the now. That's it. No rules, no dogma, just awareness, just presence. When you align with the now, you begin to act from love, not fear. from stillness, not reactivity. And that is the true path to transformation, not only for yourself, but for everyone around you. The beauty of simplicity. In a world addicted to speed, stimulation, and achievement, there is something revolutionary about simplicity. Not dull simplicity, alive simplicity. Have you ever looked at a tree? Not just seen it, but truly looked? Felt the silence of its being? That's the kind of awareness Tolle invites us into. You begin to find beauty not in what is flashy, but in what is real. The softness of the wind, the laughter of a child, the light through the window. These things aren't boring. They are miracles, waiting to be seen. But you can only see them when you're present. Final reflection. Let life be. Living a life rooted in being is not about doing more. It's about being more aware, being more still, being more available to life, not as you think it should be, but as it is. You may still face challenges, but you'll face them with grace, not resistance. You may still have goals, but you won't lose yourself in the chase. You may still experience emotions, but you'll no longer become them. You'll observe them. In this way, life stops being something to control and starts being something to experience. And that's the ultimate gift of the power of now. Not just to understand presence intellectually, but to live it, to embody it, to become it. Because when you do, you don't just change your thoughts, you change your life. Finally. As we close this exploration of Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now, let's take a moment to pause and reflect. Everything we've discussed, psychological time, the pain body, presence, surrender, and the power of the now, is not just theory or philosophy. It is the key to unlocking a life of peace, clarity, and joy. It is a truth that, when embraced, has the power to transform every aspect of your existence. But the real question is, will you live it? This isn't about what you know. It's about what you do. The only way to experience the true power of the now is to be in the now, to practice presence, moment by moment. So, let's recap some of the most important takeaways. Key takeaways. 1. The now is all there is. Time, as we know it, is a mental construct. The past and future are mere projections in your mind. The only reality is this moment. Your power lies in it. The more you live in the now, the more connected you become to life itself. 2. You are not your thoughts. The mind creates false identities, our egos, built on fear, judgment, and separation. But you are not these thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. When you can observe your thoughts without becoming them, you unlock true freedom. 3. The pain body is not you. Suffering comes when we resist life as it is. The pain body is the emotional weight of past pain we carry, but it's not your true self. You don't have to live in its grip. By embracing the now, you can dissolve the pain body, not by fighting it, but by letting it be without judgment. 4. Presence transforms relationships. When you are present, you stop reacting from past wounds or future fears. You become open, loving, and deeply connected to others. This presence in relationships allows for true communication and love, not driven by ego, but by being. 5. Surrender is freedom. Resistance to what is causes suffering. Acceptance isn't weakness, it's strength. When you surrender to the present moment, you end the battle with life itself. You stop fighting what is and start flowing with what is. 6. The mind is the enemy of presence. The mind, with its constant chatter and compulsive thinking, keeps you trapped in the illusion of time. It is only in stillness that you discover the truth of who you really are. The more you release the grip of the mind, the more you align with the power of the now. 7. Simplicity is sacred. True spiritual awakening doesn't require grand rituals or extreme sacrifices. It can be found in the simplicity of everyday moments: breathing, walking, eating, or even being with a loved one. The beauty of life unfolds when we are fully present to it. Self-reflective questions. As we close, ask yourself, what have I been running from in the present moment? Are you avoiding something, suppressing emotions, or staying busy to distract yourself from the reality of now? What thoughts or attachments keep me from being fully present? Can you observe these thoughts without judgment, allowing them to pass without identifying with them? Where in my life am I resisting what is? In what areas do you struggle to accept things as they are? How can you practice surrender to the present moment? These are powerful questions, and their answers can guide you towards deeper presence. Daily practice of stillness, observation, and awareness. Living in the now requires practice. It's not about doing it perfectly, it's about doing it consistently. The more you practice presence, the easier it becomes to access it in every moment. Start by incorporating stillness into your daily routine. In the morning, before you even get out of bed, take a few moments to check in with yourself. Breathe deeply. Notice the stillness of the morning. Feel your body and its connection to the earth. This simple practice sets the tone for the rest of your day. Throughout the day, pause regularly. Whether you're at work, cooking, walking, or talking with others, take a moment to check in. Notice your breath. Observe your thoughts. Anchor yourself in the present. This is gap awareness, the space between thoughts where presence arises. Before bed, reflect on the day. Instead of letting your mind race with thoughts of the past or future, simply breathe and be with what is. Let go of the mental chatter. Give yourself the gift of peaceful stillness before sleep. The challenge: live in the now for 24 hours. I want to leave you with a powerful challenge. For the next 24 hours, make a conscious effort to live entirely in the now. When you wake up, be aware of the present moment. When you eat, be fully present with the experience, noticing each bite. When you speak, be fully present in the conversation, listening deeply, without the need to judge or fix. When you feel triggered, pause, breathe, and return to presence instead of reacting. Observe what happens. Notice how your world transforms when you stop fighting time, stop running from the present, and instead be with it. This isn't about perfection, it's about presence. By committing to this practice, you will begin to see just how transformative the now really is. A few final recommendations. As you continue your journey with the now, I encourage you to revisit the power of now regularly. Rereading this book will deepen your understanding and help you integrate its powerful message into your life. Additionally, consider making time for meditation and journaling. Meditation helps quiet the mind and allows you to tap into the stillness that is your true nature. Journaling can be a wonderful tool to process and observe your thoughts, bringing awareness to areas where you might still be stuck in mental patterns. Make these practices part of your daily routine and watch how your connection to the now deepens. In the words of Eckhart Tolle, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. This is the truth that can change everything. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. You don't need to change anything about yourself to live fully in the now. All you need to do is be right here, right now. So, I leave you with this invitation. Step into the now. Let go of the past. Let go of the future. And embrace the incredible power that lies in this moment. Your life is waiting. It's here. It's now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe now.